Oh, I thought you were ready.
You ever think I'm actually ready?
Not like in life.
Yeah.
You know, the other day, a mugger came to me and he says, "Give me your wallet or I'll kill you." And I said, "No, I'm not ready." And he said, "Okay."
No, you're not ready for what? To be mugged or to be killed?
I said, "I'm not ready to be mugged right now."
Okay.
He's like, "It's okay, man. See you later." And that man
Was your father?
was Albert Einstein.
Damn. It's pretty impressive.
You ready to go?
No.
Okay. Hey demons, it's me, your boy.
I hate you.
Welcome to podcast number 30 and
9?
9, sure. I think. Yes, because this file is called 39. Welcome to podcast number 39. Our sponsor this day is Peter Frampton's Funeral Home. Nothing will be coming alive here. So thanks to Peter Frampton, our first celebrity endorsement.
And celebrity cameo.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah. I would do more with this, but I don't know what Peter Frampton sounds like, so unfortunately I can't.
I mean, you could just say he's not willing to talk, but he's definitely
His
here.
lawyers won't let him. Welcome.
Hi.
It snowed today, and
It is a fresh morning on October 14th,
yeah.
and it has officially snowed where we are.
Yes. And I woke up really early this morning after not having any sleep. And I drove to Rochester at 7 in the morning. So, I'm tired.
I literally gave myself a concussion last Thursday.
How so?
Throwing myself on the ground and smashing my head.
Why?
It's because I'm a great actor.
Wow. So you got a concussion?
Yeah, in acting class.
Whoa, man.
Yeah.
Like, did you go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa, you're committed. You should get an Oscar.
Yeah, no, I actually have a sore spot right here on my head.
Yikes.
Because that's where I smashed it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Are you okay now?
I'm fine now.
Alright.
Yeah.
You know what? We were going to record... Well, Thursday's our day to record. If you had recorded that day, you might not have smashed your head on the ground.
Well, no, because I still had acting class before we would have recorded.
That's fair.
But...
Is that why you couldn't record that day?
No.
Because you had a concussion?
Couldn't record that day because you went to go see a movie.
Oh, right.
I actually didn't know I had a concussion until the day after.
Really?
When I went to the doctor.
Were you getting, like, headaches?
Yeah, well, I was forgetting things. My head hurt. My neck hurt. My
ear...
I couldn't lift my arm up higher than here, but that was more because I worked out too hard.
Mm.
Because I'm getting swole.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'm like, well, I think I may have given myself a concussion. So I went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you definitely gave yourself a concussion.
Sick.
Yeah.
I've never had a concussion. What are they like?
So imagine, have you ever hit your head?
No.
On anything?
Never. I wear a impact helmet every time.
I mean, I see that, but
yeah.
I figured, one time you may have not worn that and hit your head.
Yeah, I've hit my head.
So imagine you hit your head.
Right.
You stand back up, and it hurts, right?
Good.
And you carry on with your day.
Yeah.
And then throughout your day, you forget little things.
Yeah.
And you are slightly confused about like simple directions and just like.
Well, I don't even know if I would notice because that's just me all the time.
Well, yeah, but it's more than usual.
Right. Okay.
Right. So like you start to forget more things like. one of the things I did, well, I had to go to work, right?
Yeah.
So I went to work and I was doing pizza stuff, and just like forgetting to go grab things that I was told to get like seconds earlier, or like I was talking to this person about a movie, and about an actor, and I said the actor's name and I knew who it was, and then somebody came up and asked, "Oh, what you guys talking about?" And I turned to him. I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're talking about this movie with I can't remember the actor's name."
Yeah, you're just describing how I am, just normally.
Yeah, but it's like way more than normal.
Right, but you're probably more of an observant person than me. So a concussion brings you down to my level.
I mean, you remember actors' names way more than I do.
I don't know. I do have that thing where I could be talking about an actor and then 20 seconds later I'll forget his name.
Well, sure, but like it wasn't even 20 seconds later. It was literally I turned and couldn't remember the actor anymore.
You had short-term memory loss.
I'm sort of, yeah. I mean, it's a form of brain damage.
Yeah. Are there going to be any lasting impacts, or are you better now?
No, there shouldn't be.
Okay.
You know, the brain heals itself.
Sweet. Next time, wear a football helmet.
I will try.
All right.
Turns out they don't do a whole lot, actually.
Yeah, I know.
If we want to get into that.
No.
Football's bad for your kids. Don't let them tackle people.
Yeah.
They'll all get brain damage. Play touch.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a weird way. I mean touch football.
Yeah. You want to talk about music?
No.
Alright.
Want to talk about movies?
Sure.
Alright.
So, I've seen 2 movies, neither of which I want to make my movie of the week.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. So, I'm going to just pick a different movie of the week. Do you want to... Should I go first?
Yes, I mean, you're already doing it.
Sure.
Go. You bastard.
My movie is called MFKZ.
MFKZ?
MFKZ. No, it's not. My movie is called,
Ted Danson's Last Time in the
Hardcore
Ring.
Henry. Hardcore Henry, that's it. My movie's Hardcore Henry. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's good. It's got the music, and he shoots people.
I think that movie is okay.
I think you're okay.
Yeah, I am now.
I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. Hardcore Henry
You know,
is better than
the entire movie
James Bond.
is just alright, and then
No.
there's the sections
No.
that make that movie good
no.
with that one actor.
It's all good all the time.
No, you forget.
It's better than Gravy.
You're better than Gravy?
Yes.
Are you friggin' kidding me?
I was gonna say better than Chocolate, but I don't think I'd give it that. So I'd say better than Gravy.
You like that movie better than Gravy?
I do.
You're awful.
If somebody said, somebody gave me some mashed potatoes, and they said you can have these mashed potatoes with gravy, or you can have them plain, but then afterwards we can watch Hardcore Henry. I would take those mashed potatoes plain.
I wouldn't.
So no, I love Hardcore Henry. It's
Who's that actor?
Charlotte Copley.
Charlotte Copley. He is amazing in that movie.
Yeah, he's
what makes that movie watchable.
He's my buddy. I had one Reddit. I had one Reddit exchange with him, and now he's my buddy.
He's my good buddy,
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah, I call him the Charles.
The Charles?
I ring him up. I'll be like, "Yo, Charles, how's it hanging, dude?
He's like low and firm.
Do you want to do a movie with me?" It doesn't take much to get Charlotte Copley. So you know how I had the Reddit interaction with Charlotte Copley?
Yeah, I do.
I should have asked him if he wanted to be in a movie with me instead of the question I did ask him, which was the most boring question imaginable.
Which was?
It was, of the Neil Blomkamp sci-fi trilogy that you were in, which did you prefer, Chappie, Elysium, or District 9?
Was he in all of them?
Yeah, he's in all of them.
Really?
And he said District 9, no surprise there. I don't think anybody expected him to say anything else. He just said it was just the most fun to do. And the issue was... No, that's... The account he used was being shared by him and the director of Hardcore Henry. This was a promotional thing for Hardcore Henry. If it was him and Neil Blomkamp, I would have not have asked him that question, because that would be... He'd have to show bias. He just flat out said District 9 was a lot more fun to work on than the others, and I think we all know why. It was just a better movie.
Just because it's a better movie doesn't mean it was more fun.
I don't know.
Haven't you ever made a really, really bad video and that was more fun than videos that are actually good? I
suppose, yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe you.
I can't.
Not appreciating gravy.
What's your movie of the week?
My movie of the week. Maybe I am still concussed. I forgot my movie of the week. I hate everything right now.
Did you tell him? Did you say it out loud?
I didn't.
Oh no.
Well,
we're gonna sit here until you figure it out, mister.
That's fine. Oh my god, what was it? Was it Daredevil with Colin Firth?
Well, you were talking about Daredevil quite a bit, so it could have been that.
It's definitely not my movie of the week, but I remember talking about it.
I was wondering why you brought up Daredevil. You were looking through IMDb for a long time, and then you started talking about Daredevil.
I forget what my movie is.
Was it a movie with Colin Farrell in it?
I don't even know.
Because I saw on your phone just now, you were looking at the Colin Farrell filmography.
I mean,
so
yeah.
Just pick one from there. It's probably worth it.
I can't believe I forgot everything. Oh no, so should I just pick Daredevil and say it's not a good movie, it's not my actual movie of the week, but it's a good placeholder?
Sure. But okay, eventually I'm gonna make like a document that has all the movies of the week, and I don't want to have to put Daredevil on there.
Oh my god. Okay, what about The Shining? Have we done The Shining?
Probably.
Shit. Have we done God damn it. My head hurts. I'm laughing too hard.
Let's do Venom.
Venom. I hate everything. Colin, cut it.
Just do Venom.
Cut everything.
It's okay, you can say Venom.
You are not going to make a list and put Venom on it for the best movies of the week.
We're all friends here.
Are we?
You can say Venom. And I may or may not edit it out. But just to keep the movie going. Just to keep the show going. We'll see.
Oh my god. This is the worst.
You really can't remember?
I can't flip and remember.
Look at my shelf there. Look at my movie shelf.
I hate your shelf there.
And pick something. And go with it.
Alright,
we got Snowpiercer.
How about Venom?
Sure. I'm okay with that.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. But it's your movie of the week.
You're right. Let's just do District 9. I remember that movie.
Sure.
We brought that up enough times.
Yeah. District 9's good.
Maybe I am legitimately mentally handicapped now that I gave myself a concussion.
Could be. Like I said, you're on my level now. Fine, like...
This is the worst.
Yeah. Now you know what it feels like to be me. Can't remember things. You just mind wanders.
Oh my god. If I think about it later in the show, I'll make sure to bring it up. But right now, we're just gonna go with District 9.
Sick.
I watched that a long time ago. It's about a dude that gets infected with aliens.
Yeah.
And then it's also about segregation and horribleness.
It's a real allegory for, like, immigrants and whatnot.
Yeah. Very sad, very good.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the scenes with Diane Ward, but everything else was really good.
Apparently he has Charlton Copley in it.
Yeah.
I didn't remember
He's
that
the main
until
character.
now. Is he?
He is. He's the guy that gets infected.
He does not look like that.
Well, it was quite a while ago. He was significantly younger.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Really?
You can tell the voice is there. He sounds like Charlotte Copley.
Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I just maybe I didn't even know who Charlotte
Free
Copley
Fire where he like tapes cardboard to his arms. He's like, it's to prevent against infection.
Yeah, dude.
I love that man. He's good in everything. He was the only good thing about the A-Team movie.
I didn't watch
because he
it.
played Howling Mad Murdoch.
Didn't see it.
See it for him, man.
Do you have it?
I do. Alphabetical. It's the first one on the shelf, so you can always find it.
Oh boy!
I think that's the first DVD I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's something else.
Nothing's topped it yet.
Nothing's topped it yet.
That movie has a fantastic cast, and it just...
Is that the one with Mr. T, or is the original with Mr. T?
No,
when did that movie come out?
The original's the one with Mr. T.
When did the remake come out?
It was like mid-2000s. It was
that's why
it was like a
didn't have
modern
Mr.
day
T.
remake. Because the original was in the 80s. And the new one, it's unfortunate that it came out in like 2005 or 6 or wherever it came out, because modern action movies have no personality. And that's the greatest example of taking an action series with personality and then just like watering it down and making the most bland PG-13 action movie imaginable. But it had a fantastic cast. Liam Neeson as Hannibal, Bradley Cooper as Faceman, Charlotte Copley as Howling Mad Murdoch, that one dude who played B.A. Baracus, I don't know. I forget who else. I think Jessica Biel or Jessica Alba or some such actress was in it.
So you have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I do. What of it? You should have made that your movie.
I should have.
Have you ever seen that?
I have.
Oh, it's so good.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I take back everything. Nah, I don't. District 9's still my movie of the week.
Yeah.
You also have Despicable Me.
Sure. I also have the...
Wait. Do we want to talk about the fact that you own Despicable Me?
Yeah.
Alright, why do you own Despicable Me?
I don't know.
Did you buy it?
No.
Who bought it?
Somebody. I think my parents gave it to me when it came out.
Okay, that's understandable.
I also have the Crocodile Hunter
Would
movie.
you have bought Despicable Me anyway?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
You're not sure.
Well, at the time, maybe, but I didn't have
when
my
did
own...
Despicable Me come out?
Like a long time ago. I didn't have my own money at that point. I was just getting gifts.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's fair then. I
Yeah.
take it all back. No, I don't reprimand you for the Crocodile Hunter movie.
Have you seen that?
No, but I'd love to.
Dude. You gotta see it. It's fictional. It's not, it follows, it's like an actual, like, fiction. It's not like,
Yeah, okay.
It's not like a documentary.
I'm good with that.
It's straight up, it's like a story. And he cannot act.
Good.
It's just like, it's like, it actually takes itself somewhat seriously, and then when he's on screen, he's just like, Crocky!
I mean, that sounds about right.
It's so good. I love it. That's a guilty pleasure of mine, for sure.
Guilty? Really?
Yeah. What of it?
Why? Why guilty?
I like how I'm defensive about me being guilty. Like, yeah, I'm ashamed. What about it? What? You want to go? I'm ashamed.
You want to normalize my fetishes?
I'm ashamed to own it. What about it? Okay.
Okay.
Venom?
Venom.
Venom.
You gotta get him.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No. What was that? No. Okay.
That was Venom.
No. Okay. As we've alluded to,
We saw Venom.
I didn't like it one bit. What'd you think?
I thought it was fun. It's bad, but it's fun.
Yeah. I didn't even think it was fun. I just kind of... I was too distracted by how bad it was to have fun. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, with the exception of a couple of them, most of them, you know, they can distract you, and like you don't really like criticize it all that much because it's entertaining, but like Venom didn't get to the point where I could forgive its lazy writing. Like I can forgive a little lazy writing in a movie that's solidly entertaining, but for Venom it just wasn't entertaining enough to get me to the point where I could forgive it. Mostly because it felt like it was needlessly holding itself back. It's PG-13, and I know the thing is, people always say the main issue with Venom is that it's PG-13, and I completely disagree. Well, no, that's not what I meant to say. People, there's a lot of like PG-13 movies, and people always cite the issue with it being that they're not rated R. Now, I have an issue with this mindset because there's some really good PG-13 movies out there, and just because a movie's rated R doesn't mean it's good.
Well, and I mean, the whole rating system is bad and doesn't do a good job of actually rating movies in a good fashion.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
I like to cite the Die Hard series. Die Hard 4 was PG-13, and then people were like clamoring for a R-rated Die Hard movie, and then Die Hard 5 was R-rated, and people hated it way more than they hated. People generally liked Die Hard 4.
Oh my god, my movie of the week was going to be Die Hard.
What?
I was going to make Die Hard my movie of the week.
Oh. Well, let's cross out District 9 and put Die Hard.
Oh my god, I can't believe I got it.
Yay!
I was gonna make a joke about Happy New Year because it snowed outside, and how Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and yeah, I hate everything.
Yeah.
Happy Die Hard.
Good. You know, when I look back on this episode, when I'm like doing the list of the best movies, I'm gonna mess this one up because I'm just gonna listen to the point where you say District 9.
Yeah, no, District 9 is my movie of the week this week. I'll do Die Hard next week.
Okay.
I'll write it down right now.
Okay.
So I don't forget.
Sounds good.
I can't believe that. Wow.
All right.
So Venom.
Venom.
Oh, good.
Venom is a screenplay just put to film. You know what I mean? When you write a rough draft of a screenplay, you don't fill out all the details. Me and Josh are going through this right now. When you write a screenplay, you write a very basic outline of what happens, and you don't really bother explaining everything. That you save that for the final script and the final version. Venom feels like they wrote down a screenplay and they're like, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And then somebody's like, okay, next we gotta go through and like have this all make sense so it doesn't look like really lazy screenwriting, and somebody's like, no time, we gotta shoot right now. And that's what Venom feels like to me. It's like the first draft of a screenplay where everything's conveniences with no explanations, nothing's satisfying or built up, and it sucks. That's my review.
I mean, that's fair. But if you want to see Tom Hardy writhing around and yelling at himself, it's a really fun time.
That's the only saving factor is Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, I wouldn't say he gives a good performance in this because he's not given much to work with.
Apparently, he's just kind of a not a very smart guy in the real world.
I could see that.
He always plays meatheads, and I figured it's just because, he can portray that well, but he might just be a meathead.
Maybe.
But I still love him.
He's he's playing such a boring character, and he tries his best to make it interesting, but he's not given enough to work with. So I commend him. He makes this movie almost worthwhile, his performance, but yeah, everything sucks.
Do you remember the part where Venom made a joke that he was gonna get back with the girl? And that leads us to the Venom 2, which is just going to be a rom-com. And then Venom 3, which is going to have Carnage, which is just going to be Woody Harrelson. Spoiler alert. But it's not, because who cares?
Yeah.
Do you remember the part where Woody Harrelson had an awful red wig on?
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
And he looked in the camera and he said Carnage.
Yeah. I'm going to bring the carnage.
Yeah. Do you remember how... instead of a proper after credits sequence, they just played a portion of the upcoming Spider-Man movie into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
We've now seen
10 minutes.
10 minutes of that movie because we went to go see Venom.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you remember when Eminem wrote a song that was so bad?
Venom. That was terrible. Although I was just laughing at that point and I was having a good time because it's great that we're back in an era where movies get custom raps at the end.
Yeah.
About the movie itself.
I think we need more of them. I mean, this started kind of with Deadpool.
Yeah.
You got the X gun, give it to you. The Deadpool rap.
Oh, that wasn't the Deadpool rap.
Isn't that?
No, that was by DMX. It came out in the late 90s.
That's dumb. But anyway, Deadpool has his own rap.
No, X Gonna Give It To You was not written for Deadpool.
Might as well be.
But there was a Deadpool rap.
I thought it was the same song.
No.
Well, there you go. Then you got Venom. By Eminem.
I was just curious to see what people thought of this song because I was browsing YouTube and the official music video came up for it.
Oh, there's a music video.
Yeah, I checked it out and people love this song and I was like, how?
I mean, the actual verses aren't bad, but the chorus is so awful. It's unbearable.
It overshadows anything else.
It's hard not to sit there and just go Venom, 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 Venom.
It's just like I imagined Eminem in the studio doing this, and I don't know how he could live with himself after doing this.
I mean, how much money do you think you made from it?
I got a chorus for you. Venom, Venom. It's not that much more complicated than him just saying Venom, Venom, get him, Venom. It's the worst thing.
How much money do you think you made for that?
Like $18 million.
Way too much.
Something like that. I'm sure he made 7 times the amount of the movie.
7 times. You think they spent all their money on the movie on the song instead of?
Oh, they didn't spend nearly enough money on the movie. Let me tell you. Also, the CGI just wasn't good. In some scenes, it was okay, but half the time I was like, "This looks like it was made in 2002."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to enjoy it. I was just I was too baffled by how this got made.
I can't wait until Tom Hardy and Venom finally admit their love for one another, and it just turns into a fantastic rom-com.
Yeah. If the sequel to this movie is a legitimate rom-com, I'd be okay with it.
I know.
And I would go see it, probably. That's the only way. That's the
I'm
only
gonna
way.
see the sequel either way.
I don't think I will. Unless I'm putting it on the, if it comes out and everybody's like, it's legitimately better than the first one, and it actually does justice to the character, then I might go see it. But I'm certainly not going to see it until I hear something like that. Because I don't much care about Venom, nor Spider-Man in general. So, no. I wouldn't have gone to see this if it weren't for the fact that I just got that AMC A-listers so I could see it for free, and also you and Chris brought me, and I was like, I don't hang out with you guys enough. I'll go see it as long as we go to get some Perkins. And yeah.
Yeah, that was the selling factor for me as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you too, because man, I was the whole time when we were watching Venom, I was just like, man, I can't wait for Perkins. The chicken strips.
Have we talked about our love for Perkins on this podcast?
I don't think so.
Well, let's stop and let's do a little bit of a food talk.
This episode is brought to you by Perkins.
So, Perkins has this thing on the menu, and it's the only thing on the menu that's worthwhile, and it's called the chicken strips melt.
Yes.
You got your toasted
and for
sourdough.
The record, this is not a joke. This is very real.
Yeah. You got your toasted sourdough bread. You got your chicken strip. You got your cheese, which I believe is what, pepper jack?
Pepper jack, yeah.
You got your bacon.
Yeah.
You got the other side of that sandwich.
Yeah.
And then they cut it. And sometimes they cut it into 2 pieces. Sometimes they cut into 3.
Depends
but
on the place.
It's always at an angle. So
Yeah.
you get triangles.
Yeah, and that's important because you get dipping sauce with it.
Yeah, you get dipping sauce. And typically they just give you, ranch?
Yeah.
Or honey mustard?
Yeah.
Anyway, I get ranch and honey mustard. Colin likes his blue cheese.
Yeah.
And then, depending on the Perkins you go to, you can get yourself tots. And sometimes the tots are really good, and sometimes the tots are just okay, but typically it just comes with fries.
But the fries are a safe bet, usually.
Yeah, the fries are good too.
If you want to take a gamble, go for the tots.
Yeah, I'm a gambling man, so I usually go for the tots.
Yeah.
They're good tots, though. When they're good, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
But we both order this, and we've started a legitimate a cult.
Yeah.
A cult organization.
Our love for the chicken strips melt has transcended just a mere favor. It's more like a lifestyle at this point.
Yeah. If you go out to Perkins and you order anything other than the chicken strips melt,
you're doing it wrong.
We respect you less.
Yeah.
We think you're a lesser being.
Chris has brought his girlfriend, and she was ordering, and we had talked about the chicken strip smell to her for like hours. We had built it up so much, and then she got the chicken strips dinner. I suspect just to spite us.
I kind of do too.
And you know what? I now know what it feels like to be persecuted.
Yeah.
So, the moral of the story is...
I don't think I can agree with that.
So the moral of the story is... Go to Perkins.
Strips melt.
The great thing about Perkins is they're open 24/7, so you can just stay there all day.
Hop right on by.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, chicken strips.
Melt.
Yeah. It's important that you get the chicken strips melt, because then it comes on sourdough bread, and who's not to like that?
Yeah, sourdough bread's amazing.
Yeah.
I used to not be a believer. I would...
Yeah, who started the whole chicken strips
You.
melt craze? Was it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember at this point.
I wasn't a believer, and then like I would get breakfasts or burgers there, and they were good.
And you noticed that every time we went, I got the same thing.
Yeah, every single time. And so I'm like, why? And you're like, it's the best thing on the menu. And I'm like, well, alright. So one time, we went to Perkins, and you ordered that, and I'm like, well, I guess I better try it too. So I got it, ate it. I'm like, yeah, this is the best thing on the menu.
Have you ordered a single different thing off the menu since that day?
No.
No. See, I did once. I strayed a little bit. I didn't stray too far, because I got another melt.
Yeah,
I took my chances with another melt. I got a patty melt. Burger melt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this is okay, but you had a chicken strips melt, and the smell was wafting towards me. I was like, man, I sure wish I had a chicken strips melt right now.
Well, and the best part about that entire exchange was my chicken strips melt was then elevated by your patty melt, because your patty melt had so many deep fried like onion tanglers falling off of it.
Yeah.
That I said, mind if I just like take some of those that fell off? And you're like, yeah, go right ahead. I put them on my chicken strips melt. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was like even better. So if you can get a chicken strips melt with
really the real way
onion on it?
The real way to get chicken strips melt is make sure that you're the only one to get it, and then supplement it with things from other meals.
It's true, because I mean you still miss out on like the good pancakes that you can get with the breakfast.
The only problem about the chicken strips melt is you don't get a good like vegetable. Like it could do for a good like onions on it, you know? That would be good.
Yeah.
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 So Perkins, if you're listening,
give me some onions.
Yeah.
Been waiting years for you to put onions on your chicken strip melt.
I put onions and pickles on it, I think.
Pickles?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. A good like sour crunch would do it good. Anyway. So
I'm gonna go to Perkins after this.
Yeah, now I'm just hungry for a chicken strips melt, man.
Oh boy. Perkins is underrated.
Okay, I've got a couple movies to talk about.
You go right ahead. I have nothing else to talk about.
We talked about Venom. Okay, in that case, I've got one more to talk about. I got MFKZ to talk about. It is you probably haven't heard of this because it was a 2-day limited release thing. Everywhere around the country, just select theaters. 1 day, 1 time, a big premiere for this movie, and it was in the theater I went to. It was kind of buried right in the back of the theater, and it was just a handful of weeaboos saw it, and anyway, it's called MFKZ. It's a French-Japanese animated movie. Anime, I suppose. It stars Danny Trejo and Vince Staples and RZA. And it takes place in Los Angeles. Well, not Los Angeles. Dark Meat City. It takes place in Dark Meat City, which is a fictional version of Los Angeles, and it's all about the Illuminati and gang warfare. And it stars this little black dude. Black as in, like, actually black. Like... no, like the color black. Not, like, African American. He's like Marvin the Martian without a hat. Yeah, that's what he looks like. And then a skull for a face. There's a guy he's a skull head and it's on fire. And that guy's played by Vince Staples.
Is his name just Ghost Rider?
No, his name's Vince.
I hate this movie.
And I saw this, and I don't know what to say. It's fun, I guess. It's fun, the animation's great, and the art direction and world building is fantastic. Everything else is pretty bad. So, if you want to see a unique, well-animated movie with great art, then check it out.
Go watch Coraline.
Yeah. And yeah, that's all I got to say about it. It's kind of fun.
Cool. Want to talk about something else?
Yeah, like what?
Perkins.
Man.
I wish we had a Perkins that was closer.
Yeah.
Hey Perkins, if you're listening,
Build one close to me.
build a Perkins next door to my house.
Can you... Okay, I'm part of a row of townhomes. Can you demolish one of these homes? Preferably the one right next to me.
How about just that house right there with the obnoxious people?
Yeah. Can you take out my neighbor's house?
Just take out my neighbors.
Yeah.
Perkins,
Take 'em out.
can you kill my neighbors?
And then bulldoze their house. And then put up a Perkins right across the street from me. So I
you
can
know
just
how
go
wonderful
there.
that would be?
That'd be fantastic.
Oh my god.
I would just... I could go in my pajamas. They'd know me. They would know my regular, which is the chicken strip smell.
You would be there so often, but like eventually you would be ordering like more than just chicken strip smelt because you'd be there for breakfast and then lunch.
Chicken
and then
strip
dinner.
smelt is every meal of the day.
I don't know if I could do it every meal of the day. I could go close. I could go 2 out of the 3. But for breakfast, if I'm gonna actually eat breakfast, it needs to be a good breakfast.
Bacon?
You're right.
It's got bacon in it. And toast.
You're like so close to convincing me. God damn it.
It's like made up of half breakfast ingredients technically.
And then you have your potatoes, which are basically just hash browns.
Yeah, you could get tater tots. I used to have tater tots for breakfast.
Did you?
Eee!
I didn't.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. You could probably get hash browns though.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge hash brown guy though.
I am.
I'd get tater tots instead.
I am comprised of at least 60% hash browns.
Good.
Want to talk about music?
Sure. So, my song of the week is another blues song.
Sick.
It's by Muddy Waters. It's called Champagne and Reefer.
Sick, dude.
It's a good chill blues jam. It's classic. Muddy Waters, if you know who that is. Classic blues guy. It's good. It's really good. It's an old song, but it's good. You may actually have a little trouble finding it on Spotify.
Tight.
Maybe. I don't know. Good luck.
Tight. Okay.
What's your song of the week?
My song of the week is Sleep in the Heat by Pup. I thought Sleep in the Heat was a really, really great emo anthem about the singer's best friend moving into his apartment and then having a mental breaking down and killing himself. I was convinced for the longest time that's what it was about. But then I looked up what the lyrics are about, and it's about the singer's pet chameleon. And I don't know what that does to my opinion about the song. But I mean, it does. I mean, it is my song of the week, so
Oh goodness!
it still works. Check it out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, check it out.
Chicken out.
It's a good one.
Let's talk a little bit about Caro Bonito.
Yeah, you listened to that album then?
I did.
Cool.
Actually, let me just pull it up so I can talk about the track list with some intelligence. I mean, like you said last week, all of their songs are fairly generically named, so to actually talk about them, I'll need to actually see them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I listened to the album from front to back, all the way through, one entire time, and yeah, it's a whole album.
Yeah.
You got a whole 12 songs. Kicks it off with some Outside. Kicks it off with that. That's like a little opener. You got Time Today, which is like, cutesy, like the 90% of this album.
Yeah.
Then you have Only Acting, which, as described before, is the most interesting song on the album.
Yeah.
In which it starts off with this pretty, poppy,
It's legitimately catchy, that one.
yeah.
It's actually been stuck in my head a lot.
And then it breaks down into this weird kind of, as you said, nightmare scape.
Yeah.
And then the end also does that as well. And then it just goes back into cute stuff. And then
it makes you wonder if you're going crazy, because you're like, what was with that song?
Well, and then from after Only Acting, you have from Fly Away to Swimming. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs.
Yeah.
Right? You have 8 songs, which are all these cutesy, kind of like anime intro, slice of life type of songs.
Yeah.
That all have, pretty lighthearted, poppy sounds. You think pastels, bright pastel colors.
Yeah.
But a couple of them, and I'm not sure which ones. They have very small moments.
Yeah.
Of
where that nightmare comes back just very briefly.
Yeah, like a glitch in the soundtrack, like and then it'll continue.
Exactly. And it makes you uneasy, and it feels like there's something else happening below the surface of all the cutesiness.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're trying to convey. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And then you get to the 12th song on the album, called Rest Stop.
Yeah.
I don't like this song. It's
why is that?
I mean, it's just not interesting. It doesn't actually have a whole lot of musical prowess. Because it's mostly just...
It's a noise song.
Noise. Yeah. And screaming. And...
yeah.
That's about it.
I actually...
imagine if you opened a portal to hell.
I actually liked Rest Stop because it brings the concept to a close, and it makes me think that my opinion about this album, and there's a lot of ways you can interpret this album, my opinion about this album is there's an implication of something darker happening.
Have we looked that up?
Behind the scenes. I should look that up, because it's like there's an implication that everything's happy and fine, but really there's like actual torment going on in the mind of in the persona of the singer. That's my opinion about the album. I might be completely off about that. I'm billing it as like a secret concept album, but I don't know. It could be just that Cara Carabanito decided to, do some noise elements in this album, which is fine, which is cool. I actually really like experimental noise music, so it reminded me of Masana a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look into that if anybody else has that same theory about this album, but...
I think people have that theory, but I don't think anything has been confirmed as of the little research I just did. I'd have to look more into it. But yeah, it was interesting. A good chunk of it was just kind of the same. Like I said, there's 8 songs there that are poppy, and the most interesting parts are when they start to break a little. That's why Only Acting is the most interesting.
Well, it's weird because I like that they restrain themselves with the weird noise stuff. But it would be easier to recommend this album, I think, if it didn't have that at all. Because, like I said, I like it in the sense that it's a fun, chill, happy, youthful pop rock album. I like it in that sense, and there's some genuinely good tracks in that sense, but yeah, instead I was listening to it and I was just on edge, and I was waiting for it to break again. And I kind of wish they kind of didn't go far enough in the horror direction, I think, and I feel like I would have preferred if this album as a whole ran with the concept of it being like a Doki Doki Literature Club situation more. But instead, they did just do some like straight up like actual songs. So yeah, it kind of tried to have the best of both worlds, and it's kind of difficult to describe for that because you can't really recommend it as a chill out album because then you're gonna be like, just put this on and chill, but make sure you skip songs 3 and 12, and you'll have a fun, relaxed time.
You may either think there's something wrong with your phone for a second. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just keep
That's
going.
genuinely what happened to me when I was listening to Only Acting. The part where it starts skipping, that's exactly what happens when my PC freezes, and I was listening to it on my laptop. So I was like, oh man, it froze, and then it kept going, and I saw the thing was still moving, and I was like, oh. So, and then it's... I Only Acting, it's difficult to listen to, because I always, when I remember it, I have to remember to turn the volume down before it does the...
before it just starts screeching at you.
Before it does the high gain jet takeoff level of noise.
Yeah. That was not very fun.
Yeah.
But it was interesting.
Yeah, musically interesting. Not the easiest to recommend to somebody. Like I said, Death Grips and Cara Carabinito share a large fan base. In fact, there's a lot of Cara Carabinito posts on Death Grips, the Death Grips subreddit recently. I don't know why, probably because of the new album. Like, I just saw a picture of somebody who had a Death Grips shirt signed by the lead singer of Cara Carabinito. And it's like...
Okay.
Cool, I guess. I suppose she knows about the link. And it's a link that I'm still wrapping my head around. I don't quite understand it yet. But... they share a lot of the same audience for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got to talk about for music. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright.
Want to talk about video games?
Sure, let's talk about video games.
And then close it out because, yeah, I think we'll make this a short episode because I'm tired and I'm going to fall asleep.
I'm going to go get Perkins.
Are you really?
No.
Okay.
Very sad.
Honestly, even if you were, I wouldn't come with you because I think I'm just going to crash after this. That or fill myself with caffeine to make it through the rest of the day. We'll see. I've been playing... Okay, do you ever have a game where you play it for a while and then you get distracted and then you never come back to it? And then, like, a couple years down the road, you come back to it and you're like, why did I ever stop playing this game?
Yeah.
That was me with Hyper Light Drifter.
So...
Hyper Light Drifter is legitimately one of the best games I've played in a long time. And I'll tell you, I'm going to lay it all out right now. I'm going to say it like it is. The reason... Man, I feel so ashamed. The reason I picked it up in like late 2016, and I got to a certain point and I stopped playing it, and I only just picked it up back up a couple days ago. And the reason is it was just getting too tough, and the game was too meandering for me to know what to do, and everywhere I went, I would like hit a wall where it was just there's this fight that was just killing me time after time after time. But the other day I wanted to play, like, I loved the atmosphere and the world of Hyper Light Drifter. It's just it was a little too hard for me. And the other day I was just like, I'm gonna man up and I'm gonna give it a second shot. And then I found that my file was gone, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Honestly, it's better off if I start over from the beginning, because I don't remember a lot about where I was. So, alright, cool. I'll just start over from the beginning. And then the turning point happened. I hit the difficulty select screen. And I was like, there's two difficulties. The one that I played before, and then like a casual difficulty. And I committed a cardinal sin, and I played the game. I loaded up the game in easy mode. Like a little coward. Simply because I wanted to see more of the game and enjoy more of it. You know, there's a lot of games these days where the easy difficulty, have you noticed this, has a description, and it says, for those who want to experience the story without
much difficulty.
Much difficulty in combat. I always thought that's a really that's just that's a really fake thing, and that's just a way to make people who can't be bothered to play the game properly feel good about themselves. They're like, yeah, I'm playing it for the story. I'm not. It's not because I'm bad. I don't know. It just never felt genuine to me when I saw that. I was just like, that's just like a reasoning one can give for not wanting to, put the time in, so to speak. And this is the first game where I've actually felt like that is legitimately the case. If you want to experience the story and not get killed over and over again, you'll just put it on the lower difficulty.
Or you can just get good.
I could have just gotten good. I'm thinking I like this so much, when I'm done with it, I might do another playthrough, another run where I play the normal difficulty, because at that point I'll be so used to it that I'll probably be okay with it. Because I'm noticing now I've gotten used to the combat, and I'll go through a lot of combat scenarios without getting hit. So I reasoned on normal difficulty I could probably do this, but.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I always saw that option as if you aren't as good at the game, you can start it at an easier level.
Yeah, sure.
Just so you can play it, because otherwise, you just won't be able to.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that if I see somebody who's a professional gamer and they decide to go with beginner mode, I'm gonna be like, okay, really? Okay.
Yeah, typically I play games on normal because I don't want to challenge myself unnecessarily, but I also don't want it to be too easy.
Yeah, well, and you never want to jump headfirst into a game and then just hate it because you decided to pick legendary difficulty,
Right, yeah.
Just because that can be infuriating, and depending on the game, what was it? Hitman. Hitman had difficulties where it changed the layout of the game and how the HUD was, so it just wouldn't tell you where to go and what to do. Yeah. And so the actual difficulty there is memorizing what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be going, knowing everything you can do in the game. So you're supposed to play it on easier difficulties and then work your way up to that, but if you don't, you're just screwed. You have to try to learn it yourself then, instead of the game actually teaching you, which you could say is just bad teaching in a game, which I would say it is. Or you could say that, you should start at an easier difficulty and work your way up to that.
Well, I will say, Hyper Light Drifter doesn't, on the lower difficulty, which is called Newcomer, it doesn't feel like the experience has been particularly watered down. I think the only thing that changes is the amount of damage that enemies deal. I think the damage is halved, but the combat functions exactly the same, and it is still fairly tough. I mean, there have been quite a few encounters that took me a while to beat, but it's completely doable on this difficulty. Nothing's that intimidating. You just have to, it's just trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
And keep going until you get it. And when I was playing normal, maybe it's just because I wasn't used to the game enough yet, but I was just I was just throwing myself at a wall, and I was like, I am not going to beat this because I'm just not good enough. So it was like a Dark Souls type feeling for me. So if you think Hyper Light Drifter looks pretty tough, I would recommend giving it a shot on Newcomer difficulty personally, or give it a shot on normal just to try your luck with it. Maybe you're better at it than me. But it is absolutely an experience worth having, because the music, the art style, the art direction, and the world building and just the atmosphere of this game is phenomenal, and is one of the prettiest, most engaging worlds I've ever played, I think. It's just amazing. So I highly, highly recommend you check out Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah, I played the demo for it, but I
Jeez.
never got around to getting the whole game. I've wanted to play it. I just, I haven't seen it around.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone on sale, so I don't see it when I look in the deals section.
Add it to your wish list.
My wish list?
Yeah.
Alright. Put a spell on you.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about video game difficulty? Because I think that's an interesting topic.
Sure, yeah.
So, a long, long time ago, I can still remember there was a game called Resident Evil 4.
I've never played it.
Neither have I. But this game is notable because of the way it decides its difficulty. This is a game that has difficulty settings. You can pick what difficulty you want to put it on. But it doesn't matter which difficulty you put it on unless you put it on, I believe, professional mode, which is the hardest difficulty. If you put it on easy and you play through the game and you are doing really well, it will automatically start raising the difficulty level. And if you die a bunch, it will start lowering the difficulty level.
Yeah, there have been a few games that have done this. It's the dynamic difficulty curve, where it's like... Yeah, I can't think of a specific example, but I have played games that have... The more you play it, if you go a certain time without dying, it'll raise the difficulty. Yeah, Did this originate with Resident Evil 4?
It's the most notable as far as older games go that I can think of. But yeah, this is the earliest game I know about that used this, and I have conflicting opinions about about that kind of change in a game as far as difficulty.
Right.
On one hand you have the advantage of getting through that story. If you're doing really badly in one spot, it'll start lowering the difficulty so you can get through that, and then if you do well, it'll start raising it back up. And I think that's fantastic as far as helping people get through the game itself, which I think is really good. I think that's a really good way of looking at it. And I think as far as a horror genre goes, it does a really good job keeping people on their toes and trying to be better and better and better to get through the game, because it's always going to feel like the enemies are just getting that much harder until they eventually do cut you down over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job at using it in the way they did on the game they did. But if this was implemented in Call of Duty...
It has been.
Has it?
Yeah, in Modern Warfare 2... Hold on a second. There we go. I just noticed the plug was halfway out, and I just slammed the table. Sorry about that. In Modern Warfare 2, there's a shooting range segment in the first level of the game. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, depending on the score you got at the shooting range segment, it sets the difficulty according to that.
Really?
Which is a good idea in concept. But the issue is the targets don't shoot at you. So your playstyle in the shooting range is completely different than in the real game. So being good at the shooting range does not translate to being good at the game. Because in the shooting range, you can just run and gun. You don't have to take cover. In the actual game, you have to take cover. If you're on the hardest difficulty, if you're out in the open, you'll die in 2 seconds. So... in that case, it was a good attempt to do a little adaptive difficulty thing, but it was handled poorly in my opinion.
Well, I remember that in the first Modern Warfare, they had that run through the set, and then it'll give you the suggested difficulty.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah? Okay.
It was like that in Modern Warfare 2 as well.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, that's not dynamic enough. That's just a suggestion rather than actually, changing how the game runs.
And it was completely arbitrary because, like I said, it forces you to do something pretty far disconnected from the actual gameplay of the game.
And it was all based on time, if I remember right.
Yes,
time and accuracy.
Yeah. it's funny. It's all based on time, and you don't have to defend yourself. You just have to run and shoot.
Yeah.
And the actual game, you don't have a time limit, and it's all about cover-based shooting. So it's not a good system.
Yeah, it didn't do a great job. But this idea that the game is ever changing depending on how you do in the game is a really neat concept, and I think as far as like horror games go, I think that could be really useful.
Yeah.
But other than horror games, I don't see that being super applicable because I mean,
well, I mean, there's a lot of mainstream shooters. In fact, practically every mainstream shooter has a feature where if you die a bunch of times, it'll say you're dying a whole lot. Do you want to lower the difficulty?
yeah, it'll give you that option.
And that's the biggest slap in the face.
Yeah, it's...
Whenever I get that, it's like... Oh, I was playing God of War 3 recently, and I got that after a platforming segment in which I was falling off the platforms, and it gave me the, do you want to lower the difficulty? I'm like, what? Like, it's not combat that's killing me. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this idea that like in action games, you know, we need this dynamic difficulty, especially in like action games that don't have a good plot. They're not played for the plot. They're not made for the plot. You know, you're not playing them to get a story out of them. You're playing them to play the game. The idea that the difficulty should change throughout your game just kind of seems silly to me.
Actually, I would argue that, well, okay, making the assumption that changing the difficulty just changes the amount of hits you can take, basically, maybe enemy behavior. I would argue that kind of dynamic difficulty curve is antithetical to real game design, where you like, it's your job to escalate things as the game goes along and make it harder just organically. And I forgot what I was gonna say.
I mean, you're right. It is the game designer's job to make it, you know, more exciting over time and to keep you, you know, interested. I mean, but it definitely has its ups and downs, right? Because, you know, there are people who aren't going to play these games all the way through without this dynamic difficulty setting, lowering it for them because they can't complete it.
For the most part, it's just like, it's the kind of thing that like most people would do on their own. Well, when you're talking about lowering it, like, if a person's having too much difficulty with a game and they're on like hard mode, they'll probably just switch it to normal mode. So the real interesting thing here is when the game chooses to raise the difficulty and see if people even notice, is the thing. And if a player wouldn't notice, they in the back of their minds they think these shootouts are getting real intense and I'm taking a lot of damage. I bet it's just because the enemies are harder later in the game, and then they check and they're like on hard difficulty when they started out on normal, and they're like, oh hey.
Well, see, it doesn't tell you what difficulty you're at.
Right. Yeah.
It just raises it.
Yeah.
Now, I guess what it comes down to is I don't mind this. In fact, I really think it's a good thing, but I wish it was optional. I wish there was always a setting that you could turn on or off depending on it. Now, when it comes to this, I think it could be really interesting because, I mean, we've talked about it in the past. Dark Souls. You have problems getting into Dark Souls just because of that difficulty hit. Yeah. You know, you hit that wall. There is no difficulty setting. It just is.
Yeah.
Now, if they gave Dark Souls or Bloodborne or any of those, you know, very hard games this type of dynamic difficulty setting, I think that could be very interesting. I think it could be, you know, very useful to bring in more people and to introduce them to that world.
Well, but this is, you know, speaking as somebody who can't really get into Dark Souls because it's too hard for me, I do actually think that giving people the potential to lower the difficulty of Dark Souls kind of destroys its entire appeal. because the whole idea, like Dark Souls, is very finely tuned difficulty. Like, and to play the game to the full extent, you need those hard hitting bosses. You know.
I agree.
So I don't think, like, honest. So like, you could tell me that Dark Souls Dark Souls 3 just released the patch where you can choose your difficulty setting: easy, normal, hard, masochist, whatever, and you know, like, it adapts as you go. So it's like if you're dying a lot, it gets easier. It would then be made accessible to somebody like me who just wants to play an RPG without the insane difficulty. But I wouldn't even bother because it's lost its integrity as a game, as in terms of game design. It's lost its integrity at that point. So I don't even think it would be worth playing. I think I love the fact that it's as hard as it is, because that means there's there is a specific audience of people that love it.
Yeah, but I totally agree. But I think there is something to the fact that it does alienate, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily its prime intention. I think that's just a byproduct of what it is. Yeah. I don't think when he was making it, he was like, yes, we must make it impossible for some people to play because
Dark Souls,
they're just bad.
Dark Souls never came across to me as a game that set out to be the most unfair, toughest experience ever. It's just a game that's old school hard. Like, there's a time when all games were Dark Souls. There's a time when all games were that punishing and that difficult. Like, Dark Souls is just a holdout from a older era, a classic era,
Now then, would you have played Mega Man 1 with me all the way through if it wasn't for the fact that there was now a save feature, which essentially made the game easier, which you could say was on an easier difficulty?
Yeah, probably. I would have gladly have attempted it because I love Mega Man, but
sure.
We wouldn't have beaten it. No, because that's a very, very hard game.
Now the question is do you think that using the save states ruined the game?
Kind of. I even mentioned this when we did our Digibaka playthrough. I was saying, like, it's a taboo thing that we're doing, playing Mega Man with save states, and I played Mega Man X with save states, and yes, I was able to get through it fairly easily, but it's just kind of like back in the day you didn't have this, and now it's much less of a challenge. So I don't know. Yeah, in a sense it kind of goes against the developer's intentions, for sure, but it's just kind of modernizing it. Like, games these days have saves. Whereas
I don't even think it's that, because save states are such a iconic thing for
actually,
emulators.
I'll revise my statement. Mega Man X had saves as well. The original did, so it's not entire. Well, yeah, you had a save screen where it shows the little waddle guy, the waddle soldier guy, and then
so
it has
you could save in the middle of a
it has
thing?
a screen of No, you couldn't save at any time.
Yeah.
The way that I actually retract what I said about Mega Man X, because actually I don't save in the middle of levels. I save after levels, and that was actually a feature on the SNES version. So
yeah, okay.
Okay, so technically Mega Man X doesn't count, but what we were doing in Mega Man was we were saving like every other minute just to get through it. And so
yeah, because otherwise that wouldn't have been anything we would have played.
Yeah.
Just because of how long it would have taken.
Yeah.
I don't believe that we ruined the integrity of the game. I think we beat it, except for the yellow demon.
Well, we did glitch our way through. But the
technically,
demon.
That was in the original game too.
Well, yeah, and that's like the widely accepted correct way to beat that boss, because it's just
stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I don't believe that ruined the integrity of the game, but I do believe that it wasn't intended to be played that way.
Yeah, sure.
It definitely made it easier, but, we still had our troubles, and we still had to beat those levels with nothing but, our hands. The fact that we were able to get to those parts and those levels, like that was nice, but we still had to beat it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I still got satisfaction from beating the game. I can guarantee it's not as big or as satisfying as starting from beginning to end without save states, but I still had satisfaction. Yeah. And I think this could be attributed to Dark Souls as well if they decided to create like a dynamic
if they were to release a patch for Dark Souls with a casual mode where it's like the game's difficulty is more akin to something like Skyrim. Like where it's all about the story and the RPG elements and less about combat difficulty. It would still be interesting, yeah, but it would definitely piss off a lot of the target audience of Dark Souls.
I think so, and I think that's unreasonable. Because in the end, like, you play games how you want to play them. The fact that you're getting mad because a game's trying to make it more applicable for more people is silly for you to be getting upset.
Well, Soma just did this exact scenario. Soma did this, and that's the reason I now own Soma, because when we played Soma on the channel Digibaka, that never got released, although now that it might now get released, because I'm actually, you may have noticed the Digibaka channel playthrough just got uploaded there, and you may be compelled to think, oh, they're recording videos again, but that playthrough was done like 2 years ago. And it's just now getting out. When we did Soma, I was not playing, but I was just like, man, I love the world of Soma, and I love the atmosphere and the writing. It's all very interesting, but the horror survival elements and the stealthing around monsters thing is way too stressful for me. And then recently Soma released a patch, and it included a safe mode where the monsters can't harm you. And they're inquisitive, and the monsters are still there, and they will follow you around, but they won't like chase you. They'll just like kind of meander around you, and like they might like walk in your direction. And if you get too close to them, they will hurt you, as we learned. But they won't like pursue you. So you have to be careful around the monsters, but stealth is no longer necessary. You can just walk around them, basically. And this was enough to get me to buy the game. I then later learned that just because the monsters can't hurt you doesn't mean the game's not completely terrifying, and it was still too stressful for me. I thought somehow the fact that the monsters can't hurt you would make the game like a relaxing mystery game, but that is absolutely not the case. It is horrific still. Especially when I got to a later part that we didn't quite get to on the channel. It's still very, very stressful, so I'm probably not going to finish it, but I do appreciate that they gave a chance to cowards like me.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think that, I really don't know if more games should include that, but what I am for sure on is if they do include it, I think it should be an optional thing. I think it should be able to be turned on or off.
No, games should not be designed so that everybody can play it. People shouldn't be forced to play the game in easy mode. Of course not. But
not forced to play it in the easy mode, but forced to play with dynamic difficulty. So if you're doing good, it gets harder. If you're doing bad, it gets easier.
All right. Well, I mean, at this point in the discussion, I'm not even really talking about that. I'm talking about just like making hard games easier in general, like giving a hard game an easy mode. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see the reasoning. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I see why they don't want to do it. They want to keep that feeling of satisfaction that if you beat something, then you beat it, and there wasn't another way around it. You just had to go through it. And to do that, it was difficult, and yes, you beat it, and now you get that satisfaction, and I think that's amazing. Because, I mean, if somebody would come along now and put a patch on Bloodborne and make it so that it had, on easy mode, and somebody beat it, and they got the Platinum Trophy, and they came up to me, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe it, I got it.
That's what some games do. They if you play it on easy mode, you can't get all the trophies. Like,
And I think that's a good way of doing it.
oh yeah.
I think that helps.
Like Hyper Light Drifter, it did say by playing in the easier mode that I'm playing, it is in some trophies are disabled, and I was like, fair enough. I don't really care about trophies. I just want to experience the game.
Yeah, but
so what it does is it gives you an easier way to play the game, but it does take away your bragging rights.
Yeah,
which is fair. If you want to make it easier on yourself, you shouldn't get the prestigious of trophies. So.
Which, if the trophies are important to you, great. If they aren't, great.
Yeah, trophies aren't important to me, but it's
it doesn't matter. But I worked for 3 years to get a platinum trophy on a game because it's my favorite game ever, and if somebody were to come up to me and say, oh yeah, they patched it, they made it so there was an easy difficulty, and I just beat it, got all the trophies, I would feel...
I don't think that would ever happen, though.
I mean, I'm not saying it would, because I don't believe so either.
Because every single game that has different difficulty modes, pretty much everyone I've ever played... Well, I'm sure there are exceptions, but everyone I've ever played, they do cut off certain trophies for you if you play on the easiest difficulty, for this very reason.
But I mean, even just like them completing it, not even getting the trophies, who cares? Because they're just trophies. But I don't know, it's interesting because you don't. I literally busted my ass for 3 years beating bosses, and I know that's a voluntary thing I decided to do, but to have somebody come by and just brush right past them, because there was a different difficulty setting. I have some mixed feelings about that.
Sure.
It does feel like they just took a easy route, which technically they did.
But does their taking an easy route through the game change your satisfaction you get from not taking the easy route? I would almost argue that knowing that there's an easy option and not taking it would kind of boost your ego in a sense, where you're...
Yeah, but I'm not that kind of oh, I did it the hard way kind of guy,
Well, what you're saying, though, is that you are in this scenario.
Well, no, because it's just interesting, it feels like the bosses were then, cheapened in a way. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would go against the designers in integrity,
Yeah. So I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about it. If it's going to be done, it should be optional. Always, always, always.
And of course, this whole thing's hypothetical, and there's literally no plans for this to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But hypothetical conversations can be good.
Sure.
Well, you didn't have a good time?
Yes.
You didn't like talking about video game difficulty?
No, I did.
Okay. I hate
you. It was a difficult topic to cover.
I hate you so much.
Well, do you have any more to say?
No, that about wraps it up.
Okay, cool.
Play your games how you want to play them.
Eat your milk.
Eat your milk. Play on easy if you want to play on easy. It's not wimping out.
That's what Harvey Weinstein did.
What?
We'll see you on the next episode.
Wait, did he eat his milk or play on easy?
He wimped it out.
Oh, he wimped...
So we'll see you on the next episode. This has been Josh.
That's been Colin.
Signing out.
Brother.
The cream.